Draper Radio.
Hey guys, it's Mr. Blaze.
Hey, this is Mr. Sawicki. What's going on?
And
we got two guest hosts, Mr. Blaze. Get ready.
First guest.
Miss Kohler.
All right.
And
Mrs. Pangburn, thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
I know.
First time, hopefully not last time.
When's the last time we had? Was Christmas? We had 4 people on. No,
Yeah.
5.
5.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That was zany.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was. I got a lot.
Yeah.
We got a lot of compliments from
We
friends
did.
and family on that.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, who's that one guy? Who's
Yeah.
this person?"
Yeah.
Oh, no pressure, Miss K. No pressure.
I know.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, you're the newbie, Miss Pangburn. Miss Kohler's been here before on the
I've-
Spider-Man Batman episode, which was epic. So
Yeah.
I was supposed to come on
yeah.
during COVID, I think, like
Anytime.
when we
Oh,
were
yeah.
just back, and unfortunately, my daughter was in quarantine,
Ah.
and we had to cancel. So it's taken this long
Remember
for me
that
to get
whole
here.
COVID thing, everybody?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. It was.
Yeah.
There I
That
am.
can just kind of be left in the rear view for a while.
Yeah.
Sure,
Pretty
a long
much.
time.
hmm
Excellent.
Maybe if we had magic powers, COVID would have gone away.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like to do a little transition, like in ELA class. You know.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Yes.
that-
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah. We got an epic topic today.
Yes.
I think we've been talking about this for a while. I know my wife's been like really like on saying, "Get Mr. Blaze to do the Disney villain podcast." So
I know she just had to wish upon a star to get that
yeah,
on
exactly.
here.
Poof,
Though,
like Jiminy Cricket.
Little
Here
bippity
it
boppity
is.
boo, and
Exactly.
here we are.
So here we go. We got the great Disney villain showdown today.
Yeah.
Who's the best villain? So it's all about evil today,
Yes.
which is kind of ironic because it's Easter on Sunday, which is like all a nice day,
Mm.
but
Right.
straight evil right now. So
Let's go dark.
yes,
Dark or light.
Team
Love it.
Purple. I've
Team
heard
Purple?
purple is a very popular villain's color.
don't steal my villain's thunder.
No,
I've
no,
already-
that's all. That's all I
Mm.
want, I want to say. You
That's
know,
all I'm going to say right
Say
now.
mine's a fan of blue, I would
Blue,
say.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe red sometimes.
Maybe
I was
red.
gonna say red
Oh,
for me.
red, yes.
I know
Lot of
green
rage.
is usually
Rage,
the
yeah.
color.
Yeah. Okay.
That jealousy. Yeah, usually you
Yeah.
think green.
Yes.
A lot of
green
them
envy.
start
Right.
with.
like the
Mhm.
M&M, right? Isn't that green M&M always like a little bit envious?
We do a lot of
little bit-
tangents on this show.
I would
Yeah,
say-
he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty
Sometimes we come
sure
back-
I wouldn't have called her
No, not envious.
the jealous one.
Oh wait, no,
No.
she's no. I think
She's
she's
got a
red
little
and
bit of
yellow.
I mean, she's
kind of
sassy.
like-
I would go sassy.
Sassy's better,
Okay.
yeah.
Which
Maybe I'll
also
go
tends
sassy.
to be a very Disney villain thing. They tend to be very
Okay.
witty.
Yes.
Maybe
that's
you're
another-
thinking of Green Envy from the
Oh.
motion movie.
Inside
And
Out.
Inside Out.
Oh, could
Yes.
be. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that one's Envy, I think.
Yeah.
Or disgust or something.
That's it.
That's-
Disgust.
that's what
it
is, yeah.
Disgust.
It's not easy being green, as Kermit once said. So
Nope.
yeah.
Rock
So, Mr.
on.
Blaze, you got the docket over there. You want to kind of set us up?
Yeah,
with the,
I mean,
the
we're
battle royale is going to be. Only one person's walking out of here today, by the way. So,
all right.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we play for keeps. Like it's legit.
Yikes.
And I
Right.
also had a lot of, I brought up, and I know Miss Pangburn also brought up some conversation at her dinner table, and I brought
Mhm.
some up at our Sunday night dinner. So after we do the little intro here, there was some parameter questions
Right,
about
right. to kind of guide the debate. A little
angles,
bit. Yeah.
like, well, what do you classify as, so to speak? So we have, well, when we intro, I have some survey results too. Do you want me to intro, then survey? What do we feel?
Let's save the survey for last.
Okay.
I agree.
Survey
That
says.
way they might
Yeah.
outshine us. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
It's our show, darn it.
Well, then we
Yeah.
can
You will
also
wait.
talk about their matchups and who we think would win.
Yeah.
Because that was
Right.
part of the survey
Yes.
that I found fascinating.
Cool.
Yeah,
I did
agree.
too.
You see how I'm also being more mean on this episode?
Mm,
Because Miss Pangburn and my students, we took this survey.
Mhm.
But I got to be more mean. So you will wait.
right.
Yes.
Commanding.
So I do think a lot of the drama club kids came through
Oh, yeah, they
though,
loved
taking
it,
the survey. So
I got a
shout out
couple
to Mohan
sixth
Mass Jr.
graders.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sixth
definitely.
grade kids jumped
hmm
in.
They had some very clever ones that they
Okay.
picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It wasn't
cool.
really much about evil, but more
Ooh.
a battle of wits.
All right.
That's what they went for.
I mean, that's a
powerful.
different. See, that's parameter sort of question we can bring up.
Very cool.
All right. So we have now. Okay, my character. I tried and I was pronouncing out loud. And I don't know. I may completely mess up the pronunciation.
Mhm.
From Princess and the Frog.
Oh.
How do we say the last name?
I would say Facilier.
Yeah,
Facilier.
Facilier.
Okay. Yeah, it's French, right? That's what I was
Yes.
saying. Facilier.
Yep.
All right. So that Dr. Facilier.
Cool.
I didn't even realize he was like I don't know. We'll call it doctor, but
Yeah. Well, voodoo kind of doctor,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
right, a voodoo
yeah,
doctor,
voodoo doctor.
right?
Quick
So-
random fact: I just saw that movie for the first time ever, like a month ago.
Oh,
Wow.
it's so good.
Yeah.
The music
Oh.
is so good.
Just in time for the
to
ride
me,
open.
it's
Yeah.
my
Hmm
it's my I think what helped me with my that's what helped me with my choice is one of our family's favorite my every one of my family members has maybe even the dog too has a favorite character from the movie, and I think that's why, and I like mine. So Mr. See, I almost said first name, Mr. Swicky.
Oh, that's okay. I had to pick I think there was some hot contention for this villain because clearly she's the best.
Yes.
The self-described mistress of all evil, Maleficent. It's in the name.
Yes.
She's already won, so case closed. Proceed, mortals.
Right. Gauntlet down. All right. And Miss Kohler?
I went with Gaston from Beauty and the Beast because that's my
Gaston.
favorite Disney movie.
Who's the... We can only sing like 3 or 4 words before we get copyrighted. And, like,
Yeah.
Good to know.
yeah.
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 Good to know.
That
I
is
have
a
been known
great
to break
Disney
into song,
villain
so I will
I
I'll contain
think-
myself as much as possible.
I think we I don't know. I mean, maybe if it's as long as it's not something Star Wars related, we'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, Disney, they say, is like a juggernaut. Do not touch...
Yeah, you can't touch
Don't
Disney.
mess with the mouse, they say. Yes.
Although, okay, in my research, I was listening to a Disney villains episode,
Mhm.
and they probably had a certain character. I won't say the character's name. They probably had a 30-second rant of audio,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Huh." I read up that we can do a little bit. Like I'll do like a little YouTube clip, and I'll trim it. You can show little clips like that,
Okay.
as long as it's not a long clip. I don't know if it's like you stay within like 5 seconds or something like
Okay.
that. I don't know a specific time, but anyway,
Take
So
no
I've done that.
FCC laws from me. I'm just straight like
Right.
slander on the show. So
yeah, just
slander and
down.
libel all over the place. So,
And,
anyways,
and Miss Pangburn's villain is
Well, I take offense to Mr. Sawicki calling us mortals because I chose Hades,
Oh.
who is a god,
yes,
different realm.
immortal.
True.
different realm.
Yes, different realm. I know,
Different
but
realm.
yes.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a pretty powerful showdown.
it is.
Mm.
I like how they're all set up. So like some human, some like gods, some
Yeah.
magical, some
Yeah,
yeah,
Very.
we got hybrid. Got a.
little yeah.
So I got some friends on the other side though too.
That's
so
true. Yep.
Don't forget that.
I'm gonna save some of my big things. So. Cool.
Excellent.
All right.
Now, if may, so like the parameters, are we looking like villain choices? Like when I was asking my sister-in-law, I mean, yeah, the question was, does it have to be human? Can it be a god? And are you looking for like the biggest baddie? Are we looking for what are some parameters that helped you pick who you chose?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally? Oh, thank you.
Mr. Swicky.
I love how you bowed to me first. I mean, it's the whole villain thing, anyways. Yes.
Right.
I always looked first at like just insane power levels.
Okay.
To be a villain, you have to
Power-
crush your heroes.
Power rankings.
So, I mean, without some kind of amazing powers of some kind, any Joe Schmo off the street can come up and, knock you out.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse himself could walk up and take you out. But you have to have some insane powers and abilities.
Powers,
It's one of
okay.
my go-tos, necessaries.
Now, for me, we said it was the greatest villain.
Greatest. Okay.
So it wasn't the
just-
most evil, because that was something that came up in my conversations with my family. We were debating, are we looking for the most evil character? Because then we
Right.
had a different one in mind.
Okay.
Because if I had gone the most evil, I might have gone Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Ooh,
who is
Okay.
one of the most terrifying characters ever created,
he was twisted.
but very different than what I think is the greatest.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. You think into like, it could be like mind manipulation, that
Mhm.
sort of stuff.
Sure,
Because there are some ones in there, like in some of the lists and whatnot that I've looked up, like
Yeah.
some people had like Cruella de Vil,
Okay.
her
Yeah.
level of like just
Yeah.
nasty.
Now let me ask you this: did you incorporate like their justification into
Oh,
the
yes.
greatness level? Okay.
Right.
Very much so. Again,
Yeah.
I think like the legitimacy of their argument is huge.
Exactly.
And how close were they to victory?
Mm.
So I don't believe we
okay,
have any
yes, good.
villains in our list and the other ones that I considered who
Right.
totally succeeded. But how close did they get
Before.
on their own merit, or were they foiled by someone else, say?
It's
Right.
probably a
Hmm.
no, but because I don't know, every
That's a
Disney
good
film,
one.
maybe the Disney panel assembled, has there ever been a Disney film where the villain technically wins?
Oh.
So I know they do that in like The Empire Strikes Back.
Hmm.
Okay, like The Empire won that episode.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I haven't seen all the live action remakes because I know that like the Cruella movie presented her very differently.
True.
But I haven't seen that.
That was good.
I mean, because of the live action Maleficent,
Which I didn't see. So I can reason that.
they were kind of rebrand her.
Yeah. Because
So
they try
she
to make
kind of actually wins based off of the live action.
they make them more like a sympathetic, like an anti-hero or
Yes.
okay. I'm going more just strictly like
And that's kind of what I went under the assumption we were going with the original animated movie the person
That's
featured
what I
in.
was going
Because when I talked to students today, they were like, "Why are you using Descendants?" Because that can give you even more argument.
true.
Ooh, it
So,
could.
especially
See,
for Hades, Mr. Cheyenne Jackson,
Open up a can of worms.
that singing voice. But I was like, I don't think I'm going to go there because that doesn't seem fair in terms of we didn't prep for that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because the Disney universe, like people were like on the podcast I was listening to, it's massive. And then they're like, well, one person, I don't even know if they're going to throw in a Marvel character. I was like, whoa. You can't, that's a whole different.
Gotta separate.
Because Disney's acquisition of Marvel is so recent. You
Because
can't
you can open the door to Star Wars. Or
forget about it. And then you're just like, I mean, talk about a marathon episode. You're talking
all
like,
night.
it'd be a long one.
Be a revolving door, people walking in. Well, I think Darth Vader is the best.
Yeah. Well, how would Darth Vader fare against most?
Well, what about Thanos? Like, just keep on going.
Now, it said here, in a quick search, it said, let me see, and Zootopia was plunged in. Okay. Unlike Disney, it said Bellwether won and was completely successful. Who was Bellwether from?
Bellwether.
Yes.
Wow, we're going deep.
Are you trying to stump us here?
No, I'm just pulling up because
It's from Zootopia?
Yeah,
Is
that's I never saw that.
Is that like
I thought she got arrested.
That sounds like a loss to me.
That's just a first click.
Interesting. Maybe this would be a good first comment for people. Do they know?
If you can weigh in
Yeah.
on the villain level of this Bellwether.
Okay.
Who is this Bellwether?
Yes. Identify yourself.
Yes, behind the curtain. Excellent. All right, so we have our quantifiers. We have like some of the rationale and whatnot. Now, what would be the next angle that we'd like to approach? Would you like to each throw down? Would we?
Do you have one you had Miss Kohler first?
Oh, apologize.
I picked my villain based off of how much I could defend him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Whether or not I really think they're the villain of the story or not.
Oh, that's another
whether
question.
they
Right.
were planted as the villain. That's where the angle I took.
Wow.
Okay.
Sympathy angle. Okay.
Yeah, and there's sometimes in some movies, like we were talking, like Moana, like there's kind of it's loose, but there's some movies where there weren't even villains, even though like Nemo, for instance, right? They consider what's her name, Dara? What's the
Dory.
little girl?
Dory.
No, not Dory. But
Darla.
Darla.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she's
she was listed as the villain for that.
Mr. Blaze. She's a fish killer. She's a villain.
Yeah, she'd
be a
just
villain.
saw it and shook it.
And Sid in Toy Story.
Sid's a psychopath.
Fun fact: he's the only human who ever sees that the toys are alive.
Oh,
did you know that?
I like
He's
that.
the only one.
Yeah. I love that. So
No sympathy for him still. Although he is very creative.
Yes.
Yes.
He is, as most
He has
villains
a creative
are.
mind.
He's very avant-garde with his art. Yes. So you should appreciate it.
Yes.
Hybrid toys and such.
You're trying. He's trying.
And in Frozen, they picked Hans as the villain. It's not.
He was up for consideration in my family for this episode.
Yeah, he was consideration for me too. But
Yeah,
I was like,
sneaky,
and just
dirty.
the surprise factor, the fact that you think one thing for almost 3/4 of the movie, and then boom,
it turns into
Good
like a
switcheroo. Yeah.
Right.
oh, excuse me, spoil alert.
Right.
Oh,
Prince Hans is the bad guy.
Yes.
We have a 2-month spoiler. That's so we're good. So.
Right. Well, they did 2 weeks for Avengers.
Sometimes we spoil 20-year-old films. We're like, spoiler. I'm like, wait,
just
I
in
say,
case you have
oh man,
how
old is Frozen? Probably older than I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's pre-COVID. I know that.
Yeah, that was 20.
Okay, well, we were just talking about Toy Story. Toy Story 1995.
I know.
Was Toy Story here.
Good times.
I don't know if I have...
I don't even think I wrote down the year for my own movie.
Pulling a very old Disney villain, but I mean, want to go through
Moana,
I was going to do the Rescuer.
8 years ago.
Oh, I love Moana.
Right.
Moana might be my favorite Disney movie.
she's
That's
right
a whole
there.
other conversation.
Madame Medusa. I was going to do her.
1977.
The Rescuers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Toy
I
Story
grew up on
2
that
was
one.
1999.
Sounds about right.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, Sword in the Stone. Gosh, some old ones here. Trying to see if I can find it.
Man.
Um,
I remember watching Sword in the Stone on a VHS tape at my grandparents' house.
You'll have to explain those for our listeners. We always joke. VHS.
right?
I once had a student, we were reading a short story and a VHS tape came up and I said, does anybody know what that is? And they raised their hand and they went, it's the brick you put into the TV. And
Right.
it's like, yes,
Yeah.
sure.
It's kind of like streaming when they print the movie from streaming services onto a brick. Yes.
Under break. And it's funny too. Like I was listening the other day, and people saying how people like very sensitive about age, right? How old you are, and how to tell someone how old you are by what was going on during that time, instead of be kind and rewind.
Yes.
Is my and they're like, what was that?
You'd go to Blockbuster and watch your movies.
Skip mode.
Everyone, they had that super fast rewinder on their when you came in.
Awesome.
So, I don't know. So Toy Story is probably, I would say, I don't know with the year difference, probably earlier 90s, 90s.
Say of our villains, who's the oldest? Well, I mean, in terms of movie, not in. I think in terms of trying to age them would be impossible for some
Hercules
of them.
was the 90s.
90s. I want to say
97 maybe.
Yeah, later 90s.
Sleeping Beauty was the third Disney princess movie.
Yeah.
So it was like the 40s or 50s.
50s, yeah.
Right.
And Beauty and the Beast was also 90s heyday.
Yeah.
I was
90s.
2009. I couldn't believe that.
Okay.
15 years old at this point. Like that movie is.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
So,
I'm like, it was just yesterday. It just came out. What's
I've been
going
around
on?
the longest, so again, just saying.
Yeah.
Just
stacking
them up for Team Lufsen over here. So.
You know some things.
Yes. So yeah, justification or like a sympathetic cause. I like that one.
Yep.
And then you got one to round it out, do you think?
So I guess mine would be, kind of like unsuspecting, like power. Like at face value, the character doesn't really have, like he's like this shady guy in the corner. He doesn't come off as like having the capability to pull off what he pulls off.
Okay.
So like unsuspecting, like that was he was like listed as kind of like a very underrated is what mine fell under. But I liked him.
The X Factor almost. The
X Factor.
The coolness.
Yeah, right,
like why do people are you drawn to this villain?
Right. Yeah.
Pretty.
And he's a snappy dresser too. Can't argue that.
Sure.
I like that.
Perfect.
I will warn you. I am prepared to talk about henchmen and sidekicks.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I'd even go sidekicks, but
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
the supporting cast
They fall into
my
the power,
villain.
exactly. Yeah.
So
Yep.
Right.
That definitely helped me with mine.
Cool.
Excellent. Okay.
All right. Anybody want to kick it off? Powers. They think theirs has the greatest powers. I mean, I'm ready.
I mean, my case has already presented itself, really.
Yes.
But,
I just call this whole entire podcast a formality. Maleficent's already won, but
right.
in terms of formality. But no, I'll offer to a guess first. Anybody want to take the first power levels?
Mine is human. So
We'll go on and sell him. He can do
he's
one-handed push-ups.
He's a hunter. He's very strong.
Yes.
Okay.
So he's got the strength. Doesn't really have the magic, but
He's got the mass. He's roughly the size of a barn.
Yeah.
yes, that's true. He's
How many
very.
eggs did he eat a day, too? That's pretty
I
impressive.
think it's 8 dozen.
8 dozen?
6 dozen eggs,
Yeah.
maybe
A lot of
4
eggs.
dozen when he was
a lot
kid.
of eggs.
His cholesterol must be off the levels.
We thought Rocky was big, right? Like
He
Rocky's
definitely could take Rocky.
Checking for salmonella poisoning
Yeah.
and cholesterol.
There's a face-off right there. Rocky versus Gaston.
I like
That would be fun.
That'd be a fun one.
I wonder if someone's made it like a mashup on
That'd be cool.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
There has to
Yep.
be one.
All right, so he's definitely super strong.
Super strong.
I do respect
definitely.
him. He goes toe to toe with the beast. Like,
He's not afraid of the beast.
so no fear. Okay.
No fear.
Gotcha. All right. I'm trying to think of my Beauty and the Beast. Like arms, like weapons expert. He's got like the rifle and knife and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah. And he's like a great huntsman. I don't know if he's like. I don't think they ever saved whether or not he's like a leader, but the whole town looks up to him.
Yeah.
I was
Like,
going to say, people
the
love
town.
him.
Yeah, the whole town loves him.
Him.
Yeah.
Like he's like their god, but
Yeah.
they're humanly god, obviously.
Ooh.
Kind of a narcissist kind of vibe.
Yep,
That
definitely a
guy.
narcissist.
All
Yep.
right. I dig it. Okay. Cool.
All right, well, from the
Miss Pangburn?
godlike to the actual god,
Ooh.
because Hades
Oh,
is the god of the underworld.
Yes.
I described it as his fire powers. He pretty much can have fire come from any orifice that he chooses at any time. And he can control it, so it's not like a power that he just blows things up or anything.
Right.
But he does with purpose, always.
Is it called pyromancy, technically?
Ooh,
Magical.
thank you, Mr. Zawicki.
Yes.
My nerd.
Definitely superior intellect, I would say. Very witty. Like, all of his dialogue is loaded with humor and jokes. I think sometimes even the characters in the movie don't get. But he is there, rambling at like full speed. Again, I would say his leadership skills. He pulls together quite an army to fund his mission and do his dirty work for him. And something that I will shout out to my husband for. He said that Hades reads people and quickly assesses them for their flaws and weaknesses in order to manipulate them.
Wow.
Which I think is an incredible power that does not rely on his god status.
Right. That's just like sheer like intuition and
I like it. Okay.
That's a
people
good one.
manipulator.
Very cool.
Excellent. My guy, I think he has some similar attributes of the slick factor of just being so charming and being able to manipulate himself into conversations to get people to draw them in, like like a street corner sort of performer, and then he knows his clients, similar to Hades in a way, and he can start manipulating their thought process and getting inside their head and making them believe what he wants them to believe to buy into his plan. So I think, that would be, one of his powers, and then he'll use his voodoo magic at that point. But the ability to lure, if you can't lure people in, you can't get them. So he's got to have that absolutely mastered, so that just general, con artist sort of, persona is what I think is one of his strengths. That's his bait, if you will.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I like him. Again, not really what you think of as a villain, but you have to have something to kind of like, to draw the people in.
Gotcha.
So I put to you, Mr. Blaze, the powers that he gets from the other side.
Yes.
Do we consider those his powers, or is he just the conduit for the power?
Well, I think because
I see what she's doing. You're just trying to take your guy down, okay?
But he's
showdown. This is a showdown. Are we supposed to be nice? I'm sorry. I didn't get that.
He's got a constant connection to them, so I think he can manipulate that power. Because if you notice, his shadow is not always his shadow; it is the other side that's always with him. And I don't want to, spoil the movie, even though it was, 15 years old, right? But like with his plans, but I think he's got a constant connection. I think he could. I don't think he reached the full potential of his power. I think he got cut a little bit short. But I think he missed his calling in some respect, and he didn't reach that max potential. But I think he had the ability to do things, but he was not functioning at, like, let's say 100%. So he was there, and I think he could constantly wield it. It just depending on, if he was keeping in good standing with the other side. That's his. And once you get in the bad, it's kind of like a mafia boss, right? Like once you don't pay your dues, then you have problems, and that's kind of what became his problem.
So he was answering to his mafia. My guy was the mafia.
Yes. Okay.
Sounds like you're selling him a little bit short there. So. But, touche.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Gotta just make sure it's loud and clear in this one. Maleficent, she's honestly scared me since I was a little kid. And that takes a lot because I'm a horror film aficionado. Right. So to be able to terrify me, I was like, great. Various powers include dark magic, shape-shifting. She turns into a little dragon.
Right.
Let's not forget that. I'm going to really start with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Flight, teleportation, ability to cast curses, formidable strength, power to manipulate elements, strong connection to nature, and has often been portrayed the ability to control shadows and summon magical creatures. I think I can rest alone on the dragon and all the magic. She has a castle. She has an entire army at her disposal. She has a cool raven. Does Raven have a name? I can't remember.
I don't think so. If he does, that would be a very cool tidbit to know.
My pretty and stuff like that. So, I just think she's like an unstoppable sorceress. She has complete control of her powers. She obviously slays humans. I give her the one up on Hades because she has control of like her own realm, whereas
Right.
Hades is kind of trapped in the underworld, has ties, so to speak.
Mm,
We can debate that a little
we
bit.
can debate that later. We can
Yes.
also debate the word unstoppable that you've been using. 'Cause
Unstoppable.
I don't believe that to be true about her at all.
This is a showdown.
Right.
True, because
I mean-
she gets killed in the
She-
end. by-
there is that whole like sword in the heart thing, but
I was
okay.
just gonna say,
But it's an enchanted sword. So it's cheating. Well, I could also say that Hades also lost to his brothers, Zeus and Poseidon. He was actually third. Had to
Okay,
take
that's
them.
not in the
So-
Disney movie though. We are
so-
not debating Greek mythology today, Mr. Sawicki.
True. But I'm gonna draw it into the courtroom anyway. So that's what I got in her power level.
Okay.
I put it at a 10. The end.
10. Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's what we should have done. We should have like done like
I know, well-
number rankings. That's okay.
Hmm.
I guess that'd be cool too, maybe to open it up to listeners or do another poll
Mm.
Right.
after this discussion. You can have
Like
the kids
where-
kind of like say,
Where people vote.
like, all right, now that I heard
Yeah.
all those things, like in my opinion, I'm clicking on this person as the best. Like, so that'd be kind of a cool thing. So.
Yes. Well, and also one thing I forgot, I always seem to like forget like some points here too. I have my notes pulled up, but so in terms of straight power too, he was very good with like he had transmutation, so being able to turn these characters in the movie into like frogs, and gave power and was able to have another guy transformed into a different person completely.
Mhm.
And he does have, he does have a lot of magic. He is able to like to go back to the shadow, like his own shadow, but being able to control shadows to do his dirty work too. So he was able to round up what he needed with his shadow. So the shadow, I mean, think about shadows, how many shadows you see in a day on a sunny day, and that's a lot. So if you can control all of those, that's pretty powerful.
Well, hearing
wanna
you
put
talk
that out
about
there.
like the creating people into different animals, I mean, if they need the potion or they need the frog's blood to do that,
Right.
which made me think about how Hades has the ability to make poisons,
Mm-hmm.
also has the ability to teleport and get himself all sorts of places with a poof of
Yep.
just
Mm-hmm.
kind of shadow and smoke.
Yep.
Not bad.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So we got.
All right.
And
Any more
Gaston
round
can
out?
walk around.
Gaston is ripped in this.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a
Now,
horse? He might have a horse. He would have a horse.
Of course,
He does have a
He has
horse.
a horse.
He
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
There's
Ne-
certain attributes about him that mimic like a Prince Charming kind
Yeah.
of thing. So like,
Ooh.
why is he the villain
Ah.
if he's doing the rescuing?
That's true.
Oh.
The
He has a
sympathy.
crossbow too, doesn't he? I remember right. First
Hmm.
crossbow in the end.
He carries a stick around that's on fire, and Hades could light it for him.
They can
Okay.
work
They
together.
could work together.
Interesting.
Now, in terms of like character, I was doing a little bit of research, and I don't know if you guys have any on this, but I always like to find out like where I mean, with yours, and Gaston maybe too, but like with Hades, it's from Greek gods, but like I was looking at like inspiration for the character, like and like their voices, and one inspiration, I don't know from where it came from, but I think it's kind of cool because he's kind of slick and he can kind of dance and move. But Michael Jackson was considered one of the characters' inspiration for mine. And this other, I was wondering if you guys had any information on like the background of your character, and I wanted to find out like who my character was, where like
Kind of throwing a
Ins-
curveball midair.
inspiration. I was curious if you got. I know Hades. Hades is self-spoken,
Yeah.
so we don't need anything there.
Sure.
Well, no, I will add an addition.
A little-
Because the voice of Hades is James Wood,
Yeah.
famous American actor who is known for his
Yeah.
fast-paced talking. A lot of his
Yeah.
roles on screen had that patter aspect to
I
them.
liked his voice.
So I don't know what came first, whether they cast him and then kind of molded the character around
Yeah,
his
sure.
kind of personality, because I have heard that Disney will do that.
Yeah,
That they'll watch somebody do their dialogue and then those movements are incorporated, or quirky things the person does in the sound booth will then
Right.
end up in the animation.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I wonder if that's part of it, because his voice is unmistakable. Like,
Oh yeah.
when you
I
hear
love
him,
his
even if
voice.
you don't know the name, you're like, I know that voice.
Yeah, I like to find out like the voice actor and see how much the certain cartoons I watch, like how much the character that's doing the voice looks like and how much they make that character, like they sound, it becomes that character like on screen, which is really, really cool. The voice of it, Keith David was the voice actor for Mine, and he's done other characters as well. But yeah, again, his voice is really unique. Who was
I found some interesting tidbits quickly on this
facts,
little curveball Mr. Blaze was
yeah.
throwing. The animator Mark Davis wanted to portray Maleficent obviously as like a sorceress or a witch, but he didn't want her in that stereotypical ugly.
Right.
Because the Wizard of Oz had just come out recently before, so they want to connect it. So he wanted her more elegant, more sinister, but also more beautiful, having this classic archetype of just pure evil. Designed her look to kind of emulate a giant vampire bat to create a feeling of menace. And in terms of voices, the same voice actress, Eleanor Audley, also voiced Lady Tremaine in Cinderella. So I got double villains.
Oh, so
she is pretty terrible.
Drop the mic on that one. Boom.
All right. Well, one fun thing to drop is that my villain was one of the first villains to have a theme song. And he was the first black villain as well.
Okay.
So there's a couple.
Yeah, a couple first.
In the power rankings in there. Yeah. And
Gotcha.
I was like, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Trying to
was,
bump his stats. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now,
well, couldn't you consider Gaston's? He has a self-proclaimed theme song.
He does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got a couple, right? A couple like little songs.
He does sing beautifully.
Yeah, he's got I think 2 songs. Yeah.
Now with like we were talking into his sidekicks. I liked it because I know this Pangburn was bringing that up. I don't know if we can go in any order. Doesn't matter. Like, did your character have a sidekick?
I think we should let Gaston go first because that is a memorable sidekick.
That is well, Gaston has a little sidekick named how do you pronounce it? LeFou? LeFou.
LeFou.
Yes. It's kind of funny because Gaston is can be considered dim-witted, but so is LeFou. He's even worse. He doesn't even know how to spell Gaston. Excuse me. Right, because I think it's him spelling Gaston where he's like Gast, another Ton in the middle of the Gaston song, and he like has no idea. He thinks he's right, and he's looking for the crowd to help him, but the whole village is like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's not like the smartest French village.
No. They are quite illiterate.
Yeah, only Belle read, so.
Right, no, yeah, reading all the books, those guys were just basically out out around just...
They're just following whatever Gaston says.
Being chauvinistic and whatnot.
Yeah, so...
In his so help me with the name. In the live-action version...
Oh, Josh Gad.
He does the voice of Olaf.
Yep, so it's like almost perfect.
I didn't know that, and I'm like, that's Olaf! That's Olaf! And I'm like, that's so cool, because sometimes you've never seen... like the voice actor, and you were curious. You're like, what would they look like without? Like I don't know. I couldn't.
Puts it through perfectly.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. I thought
just the name alone, like I didn't know it, but like I had to Google the meaning of Le Fou for French. It means the silly one or the fool.
Okay,
so, kind of
perfect. That is perfect. Yeah,
connection. So
the fool. I like that.
All right. Sidekicks. This was your
sure. So again, I was gonna say I like henchmen as my
I feel like sidekicks is more friendly hero.
Yeah, and Hades is controlling, which is also proving to why he's so great is that he's able to control all these different people who he has in his employ. Again, Pain and Panic are recognizable, the little demons. Actually, my daughter, Hannah, was obsessed with Hercules for a stretch when she was like 3, which is, younger than your typical. But she has always loved Disney movies. And her aunt and uncle managed to find Pain and Panic stuffed toys.
What?
Which and a Hercules T-shirt that might have even been vintage at the point that they got it. But so there is a little Pain and Panic running around my house somewhere. And they are not the brightest bulbs in this along line with LeFou, but I feel like Disney likes that. They like their villain villain with sidekicks or henchmen that you can then put the blame on and make the mistakes, which I have a whole tangent about that for a little later. But aside from Pain and Panic, we have all the Titans. Which is just epic.
But they really count as henchmen.
Oh, they do. He's in. Yes, they totally do. I believe that they would be his henchmen.
The Titans he released.
He released them, and they are doing his bidding.
They hated Zeus, anyways. They're doing their own bidding.
No, but see, that's where he figured out what they wanted, and he's using them for his purposes.
Okay.
So that goes back to that skill of kind of twisting and turning and.
unleashing like
Manipulating.
Mother Nature on something, saying, "Here, destroy."
Yeah.
But he
good
did
for
it.
the villain,
He
but
did
not
it.
for the henchman.
He did it. No, I'm not saying this is good for them. I'm just saying that he
Right.
just did it.
Okay,
Right.
fair,
It could
fair.
work.
Again, and on that lines, he's got the Cyclops. He's got the Hydra and the Water Guardian, some other kind of people in his employ. But I will pose to you, one of the reasons my villain is so great is because when we think of the princesses or fair maidens or female protagonists in these movies,
Yep.
you don't think of any of them as being beholden to the villains.
Mm.
And Meg
True.
is.
Yeah.
That's
Meg
true.
is his henchman. She went
True.
and she made a bargain
That's true.
of her own choosing.
Mhm.
She went in willingly, and she is doing his bidding based on the agreement that she made to save her former love. So
She got put in a position. It's kind of like like that, like a mafia, right? You know,
Yeah.
like I got you now, and now
and now I will use you as
You ever want to get out of this? Yeah.
you do what you got to do. So then it works to the villain's behalf.
Michaela Hewitt, if you are in the building, please come to the security office. Michaela Hewitt,
Still in the building.
please come to the security
Go home.
office.
go get out of here.
Go home, children.
Exit.
So I will pose that he has the widest variety of people who and creatures,
Yep.
monsters who are working for him in different capacities
With him.
with him.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Four.
But-
They know
Uh,
him.
yeah, again, some of them probably are much more aware of what they're doing than others. But
That
again,
big hoofy Cyclops probably no clue.
Yeah,
Destroy the
no.
town.
No.
Just
Oh
like,
my
like
God,
Hulk
no.
smash
Yeah,
sort
just
of
stomping.
mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
the Hydra, every time a head's cut off, you
Yeah.
get like how many more?
Right.
He had no idea what was happening. But again, the more I thought about the fact that he has Meg in his pocket, I think is a very strong point for him because again, she's pretty beloved and also very human, like with her failings and her choices.
Gaston had just left the building, so we are moving on. And
Yeah, I think we can kind of carry on Gaston's little argument a little bit here and there. Just a few things. Yeah,
can pitch in.
yeah. There's definitely some cool
Bless her
things
heart,
there.
he wasn't going to win.
Right.
But we
Ooh,
still like him.
wow.
We
that
still
way
like
just
him.
got up and left. He's like, well, this
I'm
is
out.
over.
Yeah, I said my best thing about Gaston. I had like such respect for him because like the Beast, according to the town, was this monster.
Yeah.
So he's the only one to step up and say, "We have to kill this beast. We have to kill this monster." So,
Yeah.
like on the heroism scale for a quote unquote villain, that's pretty up there. Kind of self-sacrificial. I know he's trying to impress Belle, which in reality she wasn't really impressed at all. She's like, "Okay, who cares?"
Right.
But at least I respect him in that aspect to say, "I'm going to do this for a so-called good cause." You know? So,
Yeah. He just trying to impress the ladies. You
Yeah.
know?
and possibly get a cool castle in the meantime. If he killed the beast, he gets the castle. So.
Yeah. Added bonus there, right?
Right.
Nice. All right, so I got that good. Excellent. So we got sidekicks covered. We have
Yep.
now.
Did you cover all your sidekicks?
I did, yes.
You got
thank
yours?
You guys don't have any sidekicks, did you?
You know,
I
not
would
real.
call
If there is a kind of, I mean,
playing
I don't think
cards?
he's directly associated, but again, he could reap the benefit from working with
Yeah.
Dr.
Oh,
Facilier.
I would say,
Lawrence was
yeah,
the guy.
prince's butler,
Yeah.
servant,
Oh, yeah.
lackey, kind of
yeah.
becomes his
Sure.
sidekick in a way.
Right, because he's kind of, the prince is broke. You know, he needs to get money, so that's how he kind of gets into the whole thing.
Right.
And then Lawrence kind of gets. He's got a lot of rationale to join in with Dr. Facilier in this business because he just has nothing going for him. You know, like they show you, like when they're doing the tarot card reading and they show him, you know, like here's all the problems you have. And you see this guy just going around and just dropping and getting all this weight put on him. He just collapses. His wife is just nagging him and just being a pain. So he's got a lot of motivation to try to do something to make his life a little bit better. So he comes into it and he becomes the prince. You know, with the help of the voodoo magic, he becomes the prince. Meanwhile, the prince is the frog, and so therefore, but then it's comical how when he starts running out of like the prince's, I think it was the prince's blood, I forget, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, like a big butt cheek will pop out, and he turns back into his portly self, and not the handsome prince. So. So I think Lawrence would be that, like loose connection because he's working alongside him. Again, like you were saying about like the big monsters, what's their motive? Right. Is he have control over him? And I guess, Dr. Facilier
It is kind of headed in the same direction.
He needs Dr. Facilier. So like he's reliant upon him to get what he wants.
Okay.
So he's,
fair assessment.
Yeah. So that's
I did research while we were chatting. The Raven's actually named Diablo.
Ooh.
Which is Spanish for the devil.
It's a great name for a raven.
Diablo.
And Maleficent has an entire goon army at her disposal, too, inside the epic castle. So I also like to say that her henchmen is definitely top tier to have an entire army, and she doesn't need all these titans or other creatures because she herself can just become them.
But do we have any proof that army does anything useful?
They have a lot of cool armor and like spears and such. So
they don't manage to keep the prince inside the castle.
Well, again, most henchmen are bumbling, so
yeah. And I would say those titans that you don't want to call my villain's henchmen do manage to incapacitate all of Mount Olympus.
Yeah, but again, that's not on Hades' side. That's just they're going to do that regardless.
It's his leadership, though.
Like
without his leadership, they wouldn't. I mean, to be fair, they were walking the wrong direction.
Yes, true.
And he had to turn them around. But they did listen to him.
Yeah,
that was a pretty comical part. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never put much on the henchman, honestly, for Maleficent, just because she herself, I thought, was the dynamo, was the powerhouse of the piece. But,
like she didn't need him.
She didn't need him, yeah.
Okay.
When you yourself can become a dragon, I'm like, that's enough. Perfect.
Right. Yeah. So would you put that as a step up, saying like henchmen not required to achieve goal versus...
To her, they're all just beneath her. Like if all lackeys and idiots.
If any of Hades' henchmen were removed, would he have been as successful?
He probably would have been more successful.
That goes to my how close were they to victory?
Yeah,
so I'm supposed to save that for that point. But
yeah.
Pretty sure Hercules would have died in the first few minutes of the movie. So.
Yes.
Right.
Game over.
Do we want to go there? Or do we want to talk about the legitimacy of their cause or their argument?
Yeah, what was
kind of their motivation?
Maybe legitimacy first, and then we'll kind of because a lot of them meet their end with their how close were they?
Very true.
Okay. All right, legitimacy of the cause. Want to take the first shot, Miss Pangburn?
Sure. Again, as you so kindly pointed out earlier, in original mythology, they cast for lots
history
to determine who was where. But Disney doesn't touch that.
True.
And they use the muses to tell the story in the way that they see fit. So, focusing solely on the Disney version, if you go with that, Hades was assigned to rule the underworld by Zeus.
Okay.
And in Disney, Zeus is the baby brother.
I didn't know that, actually.
So the fact that he is given that upper hand and the one who's allowed to do that breeds a lot of resentment. So that sibling rivalry
or jealousy
and jealousy kind of spurs his need to take over and show everybody what he's made of. And in a way that relates to your villainess, Mr. Swicky, he is often spurned by the other gods. Like when he shows up for his nephew's baptism, he's not necessarily welcomed. And I don't think anybody feels good about themselves if you're made to be unwelcome.
But is he at least invited is the question.
I don't know.
Because he is a participating member of Mount Olympus, so he has full equal rights.
He does show up, and they seem not
he's
as
hugging people. He's hugging Ares.
He's hugging. I don't think it's hugging. Yeah.
Physical contact.
Yeah. Nobody's specifically like, get out. Like, oh, great, he's here. It's one of those situations.
Yeah. But he knows that he is capable of so much more. And if we are never get to the point where we get to see what he would do with the ultimate power to rule the world, he's got a very tidy underworld, as you know, guarded by his 3-headed dog, and things are in line.
Cerberus, yes.
So it would have been interesting to see what he could have done. But again, there's a reason behind the plotting and the planning.
Right, definitely
for sure.
See, I would have thrown Cerberus like a bone, no pun intended, as a henchman too.
That's true.
That was always very epic in Greek mythology.
Oh yeah,
and he would have eaten your raven. So.
Well, I can actually leave the underworld, so it's you're trapped down there. So. All right, very good. Legitimacy for I've actually read entire articles online about this one, and I'll tie in some history. So get ready for the history lesson, folks. So when Maleficent is not invited to the royal christening and the royal coronation, in medieval times, that was a grave insult. Any king, even like rival kings and different principalities, it was not only like expected, but it was mandated that other people in the realm should be invited to these royal events. So for the fact that they didn't even invite Maleficent to this baby's big event, first of all, makes Maleficent actually the hero of the movie. She's trying to punish this evil king and queen and teach them a lesson about humility and acceptance. And it's not okay to exclude people from events just because you're a little bit different or weird. And we're all about that on this podcast, Miss Pangburn.
Right.
So, we're all about like treat people equal and such.
That's it. Yeah.
So coming into this one, I was like, all right, how am I going to settle this one? We got this evil sorceress. But I'm like, hey, they were mean to her first. Now, what she does is not okay. I'm not justifying, the making her go to sleep into a coma in the woods or whatever for. Oh no, wait, that's is that Sleeping Beauty? Am I getting it mixed up? This is wait. No, I'm thinking of Why am I thinking of Snow White for some reason? Random tangent. That was the poison apple.
Get your villain straight, Mr. Sawicki.
I know. I should have watched this like every night leading up to this.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it in like a year, but I'm like, all right, drawing on my year's experience here.
Nice.
No, because the sleeping everybody was actually the good fairies.
Yes.
While all the action went down.
Exactly.
But the whole, not poisoned spindle, it's enchanted spindle.
Enchanted, yeah. Everything's spell based, and yes.
Actually, out of pure curiosity, in any of the reading that you did, is Maleficent a fairy?
I think they took that angle in the live action ones where she is a fairy. But everything I've seen for the cartoon version, she's just, sorceress.
Sorceress.
Yeah,
sorceress.
So
okay.
I'll stick in that angle.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my big justification that she was completely in the right to feel upset when she wasn't invited.
Yeah.
And again, not even something she had to be invited. It was expected. That was the proper way of doing things in medieval Europe and with courts of kings and queens. And the proper procedures were not followed. So therefore, she has the absolute claim to punish the ruling family.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you'd be upset if you couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a prestigious
event. That was probably
event.
A huge party, and
just
she's pretty lonely in that castle, so she wanted to just go and mingle, and
and no one wanted her.
Nobody accepted her. Wah wah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's validation. Now, my guy, I don't know, like, as far as, he's got some weight on his shoulders from, kind of, my guess is before the movie, my guess is this isn't his first time of, going to the loan shark, aka the other side of they're helping him out, bailing him out. And it always seems like, I think what he was attempting to do to get his powers to, transform people into who they wanted to be and ultimately become like the most powerful voodoo doctor of all. He did not fulfill what his end of the bargain. So he had to step it up and they gave him the powers he needed and he needed to have that job done and he couldn't fulfill it maybe the first time. This is his last chance. So he had a lot of motivation to do this, like that little charm had a lot of weight on it because if it broke, then is down into shambles, he was done, and at the end, you could see all the guys coming in. So he had some motivation to keep himself alive, to be kept in that position of wielding the power and keeping that, being the conduit between the other side and the current. So I think that would be his motivating factor of, I don't want to go down in that realm. I don't want to go down the other side. I want to have the power of the other side while I'm living here. So that fear was kind of a motivational factor for him in his cause of his evil plans, I would.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. He, like I said, he's an interesting guy and that's why I like him. He's kind of like an underrated, but still very, manipulative. And that's, I think, like in all of them, people manipulate, whether it's, physical prowess, magical power, Hades does a little bit of both with, like you were saying, with, being able to manipulate people and also have the power to physically manipulate the situation as well. So
Yeah, well put.
yeah,
What do you guys think? Because this reminds me of like Power and things like that too.
sure.
It's not on our list, but if you could kind of say what you think your villain's own personal like greatest weakness was, kind of leading us towards this point where they're all going to fall and they're not going to be successful in their main task.
Yeah.
I'll put that before the court.
Hmm.
Like I think I'll start off while you guys are pondering. I would say Maleficence was just her blind rage towards the end, where I think she did realize she was starting to lose this battle against the three fairies and the prince, and she can't overdo these powers of good, where her like kind of rage got out of control. You know, I do love the dragon and that whole that whole aspect of it, but that's when she started to kind of lose control and not be as on the defensive. So
Okay. Again, I think for Hades, it becomes his reliance on other people to do some of his dirty work. Because when I think back to the fact that he is immortal, he has incredible endurance. He can manipulate fire. He can manipulate smoke. Again, like telekinesis. He can teleport objects around. He can dabble in alchemy, all these different things that he is capable of doing, but he doesn't usually use his own skills. Again, his ultimate downfall is caused by relying on someone to do a job they never finish.
right.
So I think he doesn't always like cross all his T's and dot all his I's when he could have been using his powers.
Because he really has nothing
in a
to
better
lose
way.
too, if you think about it.
I mean,
You know,
he's down in
he's all set. Like he has his own kingdom,
Right.
his own realm.
right.
Like you said, he's
Yeah,
immortal.
he can go out on whatever limb he wants to
Right.
because in the end, he
He's just-
still has where he was.
right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, he finds that
right.
to fall
That's
back
always
on.
the fallback.
All
Right.
fallback. But
Yeah.
Okay. So Blaze, any thoughts on the Doctor?
On my weakness here, a lot. I mean, a lot. It's a combination of like dominoes falling. Like a lot of the deals, like start falling through. Like he figures I'm going to make these frogs, like these people frogs, and I'm like, what are frogs going to do,
Yeah.
right? But somehow that kind of deal like backfires, right? And they have that. He's got the blood in there, but he needs to get more, and then a lightning bug becomes, like his kryptonite. I mean, distracts him. An alligator gets involved, so a lot of his deals, like his plans, slowly fail through like the prowess of a couple of mostly animals and insects.
Right.
And like unsuspecting characters. So I think that like he thought he was kind of in the clear, and like these frogs, but like these frogs were like very meddling and just constantly throwing a wrench in his cogs there, just messing him up something. But so I think the frogs were his biggest weakness, that just he thought he had it and he didn't because they were successful.
So that makes for a good segue into their downfall.
Yes.
So how close were they to obtaining victory?
So we would say, like, on a scale, like, I mean, they were pretty close, because it was like the princess, I think, had to get. Well, no, it wasn't the princess that had to get kissed or do the kissing. Yeah, and 12 o'clock was that time frame, like where and they went right up to the very end. So I would say, I mean, they were pretty close. Like, I would probably say, I don't know, the percentage out of 180, 90% there. And then like the charm talisman was broken at the very end. And that, I don't think, my guess is that was his last ditch effort. He couldn't make up another one. That was his second, third, fourth chance, whatever
Right.
it was. So I think that was his 80, 90%. I mean, they're pretty close. If had another like half an hour or something, maybe could have
Yeah.
got through. But like,
If he could have talked Tiana into it, it'd be a
Yeah.
whole different movie.
yeah, because
He almost
like,
had her.
yeah, and these and that's another like one of his kind of like powers to really talk about, like how he could kind of take them into these worlds, like these, like while you're alive, going into kind of like a dream state and showing them their future and stuff. But yeah, he was really, really close. We said about 85 to 90%. there. It was like really, Tiana was really close. And for someone who was very strong-willed about working a whole life to achieve, and how, like he was presenting her, with like a full deck, saying like, here's exactly what you want. And if someone said that, so close, but
No frog.
No frog.
No
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of frogs, I had a frog in my throat there, but I'm back. So
Right.
good transition.
There we go.
How close to the epic prize? That's the current discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that I hope you guys would agree, at least, that Maleficent was very close. I think if a few things had changed along the entire course of the movie, it would have worked out better. Obviously, the enchanted sword is her downfall. She has the whole like forest of thorns set up, and Prince Philip is trying to hack his way through. She becomes the dragon. I believe her fire actually knocks the shield out of his hand.
Mm.
He's on the edge of the cliff, so we're talking like this is the moment of like you have him.
Yep.
Like, he has no shield. He's no defense from her flames anymore. He's able to throw the magic enchanted sword and hit her right in the heart, and that's game over. So was she physically close? Yes. But I think a big piece of that puzzle that might have helped her a lot more earlier in the film had been maybe if there was more discontent among the fairies, because they're the ones that actually enchant the sword. So maybe if she had kind of realized, if I can knock them out of this equation, take away their magic and cancel out that side, the magic for good, she might have been actually closer. So I would argue physically close, she's right there, 90%, like this is it, this is game over. But I am going to, even though I'm arguing for her, I'll take her back a little bit. I do feel that she personally neglected the entire magical abilities on Aurora's side with the different fairies. So I'd probably put her closer to like a 75% there in terms of, not just physically overpowering, but also having a complete victory as well. See, I'm a fair podcast.
Here we are.
I
Okay.
kind of like say, all right.
I see you.
and like,
You realize, yeah.
this is how a
Oh.
real debate goes. You acknowledge the other side, and you still say, but in the end.
Yeah.
So, but I'll let Miss Pangburn say her piece before I say the.
About how Hades really is the greatest villain,
Nah,
yes.
well,
I mean, when we talk
that's not
about how
that's gonna
close
go.
they were to victory, an argument can be made that he did achieve the goal of taking over Mount Olympus.
Okay.
True.
It did not last.
Right.
Short-lived.
And really, in the end, I would say he didn't fail by his own hand.
Mhm.
Again, he definitely did not take in the full picture, and he missed important details that led to his downfall. But he was really let down by pain and panic.
Yeah.
Because if they had not lied to him or withheld information,
True.
it would have been a very different story.
Right.
Again, they did not finish their assignment to turn Hercules mortal.
Right.
Because they got him out of Olympus, which, come on, Zeus. You don't know where your child is?
I know.
Really? Bothers me.
Seriously.
Well, bit of
Seriously?
arrogance, yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Whole day later, like, oh wait.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
they
one
get him
job.
out.
One job.
They give him the potion, and they miss the one drop.
Right.
Yep.
And so when they try to kill him as snakes, he's able to take them on still pretty easily, even an infant
Right.
Yeah.
strength. So if they had admitted to Hades
Right.
what had happened, I mean, he would have tortured them like he usually did anyway,
Right,
maybe a
right.
little more intense, but he would have had backup plans.
True.
He
would've
then
known about that.
could have gone himself. He could have sent another whatever. So had they come clean anytime in those 18 years,
Yeah.
could have been a whole different story. So he is foiled by his nephew in the end and does not maintain victory.
Mhm.
But there is a pretty wonderful moment in the movie where he is sitting on a throne of, I believe, smoke,
Yeah.
and every god is bowing to his whim.
Yeah.
Forced.
Which is.
But
I like that one quote was a Hephaestus. And they're like, has anybody left? He's like, no, everybody's been captured. Even I've been captured.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again,
All right.
not a victory that was sustainable, but
Right.
but he
False
had.
victory.
I mean, I think.
yeah.
So out of the, I mean, I would say, who
Well, he's the only
would-
one of these three we are currently debating.
yeah.
Well, and if we add Gaston in as well, he's the only one still standing at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
the whole immortality. It's kind of like a safe bet to make when you can't lose. So Which I do respect. Those are obviously the bets you do want to take, but
I mean, again, they all have pretty epic final moments.
sure.
Yeah.
Whether it is like disintegration or
Getting pulled to the other
falling.
side. Yeah.
And Gaston has that dramatic fall from
Right.
the tower,
Yeah.
getting pulled down amongst all the spirits.
Yes.
And Hades would have been able to crawl his way back out eventually. Probably
Yeah.
took him a while,
True.
Right.
but
Yeah. Like it was pretty cool. Like that would be another like little thing. Like we were just saying, like how like the visual, like who had the
Yeah, the
coolest
grand
falling
dance, yeah.
out. Like
That
And
Hades scene did terrify me as a kid too. Like getting dragged down to the well of souls. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh boy, that's quite an image.
and like with mine, it was pretty crazy too. Like you have these almost kind of like voodoo masks, tribal, like
Oh,
they're
in the
like all
graveyard.
laughing in the
Yeah.
it's in
Yeah.
the graveyard.
Oh,
And it just like, and you see a guy who's been shady his entire life, knows these guys, but also probably respects them in terms of what they can do
Sure.
and how he's kind of getting pulled in. It was a big mouth at the end, right? Like a big, like where he was kind of getting pulled, and that kind of like, it freaks me out, like that voodoo.
Yeah.
You want, it's one of those things.
Yeah,
like,
it's
is
creepy.
voodoo
Well, and you
like
watch
real?
him realize he's losing.
Right.
Right.
You don't get that with Maleficent
True.
No.
because she's in the dragon form.
Right.
Yep.
With Gaston, you see in his eyes when he realizes he's
Yeah.
going down.
Right.
Yeah.
Hades a little bit, but again, different
Right. But he still has
scenario.
That
But he
fail-safe
knows
to
he
know
has that to
Yeah.
fall back on.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
And he turns bright red when he realizes he's been foiled,
Right.
and I think Hercules kind of smashes his face in a very
Yeah.
again. But things go back to the
Right.
comedy for him.
Exactly.
He can laugh off failures and start again, where
Right.
some of the others are never to be
that's
seen
it.
again.
Yeah. Now he becomes a shadow man, becomes a shadow himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Also very creepy.
Yeah.
Disney
Very-
has a penchant for just creeping kids out. I think it's one of their necessaries, I believe. So
One thing that creeps me out, and I've yet to find imagery, and maybe more current ones have it, is that many Disney characters don't have fingernails.
What?
Look at the hands.
Really?
I don't know if they started adding them in more current ones, but if you like, I mean, that's a detail that's really not necessary, right?
yeah,
They're not like, maybe if a character was getting a ring, and even then, like close up of hands, but a lot
Yeah.
of characters do not have, a majority of them do not, and then maybe unless it's like a creature that would have like talons or something
Yeah,
like
or
that,
different
right?
color or something,
But like
yeah.
that didn't have like a lot of like fingernails. Any last parting words before we hit like a survey?
Ooh. I think we'll have to let the survey decide.
All right, you wanna?
I mean, I think that we all four villains
Mhm.
had very memorable looks as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
From
totally.
the outfits to their
Mhm.
physical features, I
Right.
think there's a reason we were drawn to these villains.
Yes.
Yeah.
For Hades, that blue flame hair is so iconic.
Oh yeah.
I think that's amazing. And again,
And the sass. By far was like one of the most well-spoken characters.
Maleficent, on the other hand, has just that epic villain,
Right. She always had the
the
elegance
horns,
to me too. Right.
like,
Just very
everything about
regal,
it.
But right.
the cape.
Right.
God, I love the cape and scepter. Doesn't he have like,
Oh,
she has
yeah.
like a scepter
Yeah.
Scepter.
going
Yep.
on? Oh,
Yeah. Full set.
Facilier is very dapper, even in
He's
his like
very-
slightly rundown state. But,
Right?
like,
Can you see kind of like that suave? Like
Yeah.
like Michael Jackson. Like he's like he's a
Yeah, with
smooth
the
criminal,
slinking movements. Yeah,
right?
Right.
Mhm.
Would that fall in there?
Right.
the slight Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Very
him.
Yeah.
cultural vibe too, like New Orleans.
No,
Yep.
yeah, New Orleans. That's one of the places. Yeah, so much culture down there.
Mhm.
Then they really classified from the like the music, his persona. Like I love. That's one thing that drew me into that movie was like I'm a big music fan because I can't play any instrument at all.
Mm.
So
Same.
things I cannot do, I have like greater appreciation of. Like watching,
absolutely.
like musicals, like my daughter, Miss Pangburn and her directing and awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and like I enjoy a lot of these things because I these are things that I haven't tried or can't do, and
Mhm.
but yeah, I like learning about all these. Like this has been fun, finding out like what
Yeah.
made the characters
Right,
go
right.
in. But I mean, you could almost like have another one with pick different,
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do a redux, but with heroes
or the
side
heroes
characters,
version.
or-
Yeah, we could have a hero. Yeah,
Yeah, that could be a possibility too.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I like it. Yeah,
I'll come back.
So with that.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm in.
Yes, you're officially in the podcast hosting book now. So
yeah.
anytime.
Now, speaking of in the books, the survey here,
Oh yes.
we have.
See, I went pure evil, and I just completely forgot about like all these kids that voted. Sorry, kids.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh, bro."
I want to hear their matchups. Like, who did they want to
Yeah,
see?
yeah, that'd be cool.
And then maybe we could say who we think would win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, why don't you do that, Mr. Blaze?
All right. So we have.
And we won't call you out specifically by name on air and say, no, yours was.
okay. We got. Pull up. So we got. All right. So we have. Let me see. I think I made a couple of.
Ooh, it's a colorful pie chart.
Yeah, I made a little pie, just so I could see it visually. Because I sometimes forget to do that. So, favorite Disney villain. Have you guys looked at?
I did. I looked a little bit earlier.
So
I haven't at all. So I like.
I say I did see quite a few Ursulas on there,
Oh,
which is one that came up in contention with my household.
yeah.
That was my wife loves Ursula.
So
That's one of
okay,
our
who was
Halloween costumes?
who was your alternate?
I was thinking Maleficent, actually.
Maleficent. Okay.
Well, I think if they were to team up, like if he had invited her to the underworld, then they would have been unstoppable.
I've actually seen like people do cool artist fan fiction.
Yeah.
So they'll draw like Maleficent and Hades teamed up.
Yeah.
My great team when my wife and I did it, we actually came here to Teen Town this past Halloween. I was Captain Hook and she was Ursula.
Oh.
Disney villain of the sea kind of team up. I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love pirates, so Captain Hook would have been my
Captain Hook. Yeah.
Say Ursula and I was thinking Scar.
Scar was
the Lion
cool.
King.
Yep.
He was pretty a lot of surveys that I like in my scouring of the web. He came up like he's nasty.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeremy Irons.
He has his, like
voice that-
blames his
There's a
nephew
theory.
for
Did you guys
killing
ever
his
see
brother.
That's
And he also
inspiration
ate him.
from
Yeah.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
Oh,
with the skull.
okay.
Yep. Too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see that theory that he also ate Mufasa's body? Because lions are cannibals.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where there's a lion skull and Scar is playing with it. So the theory is that that's Mufasa and they retrieved him and they cannibalized him. So,
Oh man. No.
add that to the villain category for Scar.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He was nasty. So we have.
Could have watched that. Yeah.
My mind is
This
going
paper's like, oh my
right
gosh.
now.
I know.
Look it up. Type in like Scar eating Mufasa like theory. And
Maybe I
it's out
won't
there.
share that one with my 7-year-old
Yeah, I'll
daughter.
go, hey,
Maybe
kids, guess
I'll
what
keep
I'm
that one.
doing?
Yeah.
That's for after
Let's watch
bedtime.
this
That
part. Oh, there he is. There's his skull.
So we have. I mean,
I love
there's there like the big one was the definite winner for favorite villain, Maleficent.
Ah, thank you.
10.
Take my evil
Now,
dog.
and all the rest of them are 3-point, like out of the survey of I don't know how many people we had. I'm going to say like 30 or something
Mhm.
like that. A lot of them are all 3.4. Mine is tied up on there in one of the 3.4%. Okay.
Cool.
Well, actually,
Don't
does it
take back
count
my
if he's
win.
listed twice? Does that count as
Different
extra?
spellings, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was. So
Yeah.
we'll count that twice. So maybe it was 7%. So I'm pretty close. I do not see. Oh, somebody put the Beyonder. That's Marvel,
Beyond her, yeah. Okay.
right? That's like a very
Wow.
obscure.
They're getting really deep.
very
in the comic
obscure
book lore.
comic.
That's who they're referencing.
We
Let us
have.
know if that's.
Okay, so we have the Oogie Boogie.
Oh,
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Perfect.
That's
Right.
a good
Cool.
one.
I like that.
Creepy, super
Yeah.
So
creepy.
creepy.
Made of bugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Zurg, Cruella.
Yeah. Cruella.
Hades is actually 6.9.
Well, there we
you
go.
Well, I had
Awesome.
two different ones, so
Look at Mr.
definitely
Blaze skewing the
close. Like
data behind
down
the
by
screen.
6.8, 6.9. So we're both pretty close in there.
Okay.
Mother Gothel.
Oh,
Is
Mother
it there?
Gothel.
She's twisted. Yeah.
Very much so.
Hans was in there. Big Al and Stinky Pete were in there.
Toy Story.
Oh, okay. Yep. I was like, wait a minute.
Nimari,
Oh, that's Raya.
because betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
They actually put it.
Yeah,
They put
betrayal.
that's
Right.
part of like the name, and then that. So Ursula's in there. Let me see
Cool.
any other ones we did. The Evil Queen.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Shan Yu. Is that from
Mulan?
Mulan? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Terror, like another very,
Very historical,
scary
too, like-
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah. Warlike. Yeah.
Ooh,
So those are
great demise.
Oh, yeah.
Those are all. I think. Let me see. Jafar. He was
Yeah.
my.
Oh,
He was my
Jafar.
second.
He was up there for me, too.
I was, because that's another movie, because it's the one like my wife and my daughter will just start, singing, like that's
Sure.
one of our favorite ones.
Mhm.
So we have, so that's all of those for the favorite.
I have to tell you, I
And-
did try to sell my daughter on the fact that Dolores from Encanto was actually the villain because she has that acute hearing, but yet doesn't hear that Bruno is actually in the house. She did not like that.
So you're getting some good theories yourself going there.
So went down some rabbit holes
Right.
in my research for this podcast.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Hey, that's all
So now I'll hit up the okay, so let me go to the top here. The face offs.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Actually, R2.
Ooh.
Face off. All right. We have Jafar and Scar. That's an interesting one.
Now
That is
that
an
all
interesting
depends.
one.
Does he have the genie powers or not? Jafar.
Yeah.
Because obviously Alliance is going to eat some random guy in the desert.
Yeah.
So, but if he
He's
has
got
genie
some
powers,
power.
But if he had his like
He's got it.
Cobra scepter, he could
True.
probably
He still had.
true,
He
yeah.
could
hypnotize him. I say I think that's a Jafar.
Okay.
Jafar.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Fair,
should say
fair.
who. Wait, I think. Well, I know an artist. I admit defeat. I know when I'm beat.
Yes.
So we have Hades would win that one. We have Cruella and Maleficent.
Oh, Maleficent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cruella
Done.
just wants to make a coat. That's-
Okay.
that's all.
Now here's another one.
She's a twisted human. Don't get me wrong.
This one
yeah.
I could see as being a really good battle. Maleficent and Ursula.
Yeah.
Oh.
Land and sea.
Oh, who
Wow.
goes where?
That's like the British Navy versus the French Army.
I
all
mean, if
throughout
she gets her
European
out of the
history.
water,
Wow,
but I mean,
know.
I don't know. She can turn
That's a good
into a
one.
person.
Because they
Both
both
are
go
very
down
smart.
with the same kind of
Yeah, like
device,
the
like
boat
something
spear,
through
right?
the heart.
Right. Yep. Both trying for curses too, and
Yep.
that's a good one.
That might end
might-
in a draw. Like I could see them like compromising
I
somehow.
really recommend to everybody. I have this board game, my wife and we all play it so many times. Disney's Villainous. Everybody plays as their own
Oh,
villain.
yeah.
You try to accomplish your mission, but you throw each other's heroes in each other's way also.
Oh, that's
So this is
fun.
kind of
I
giving me
like
the
that.
vibes. Definitely check out that game. Disney's Villainous. They make all these expansions. All the characters we mentioned has a character.
My birthday is April 20th. I
Oh, there you go.
accept
So there
all
you go,
gifts.
kids. Yep.
Room 203. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Yes.
Mine's not till summertime, so these kids won't get me anything. So
All right. So we have.
you can leave it in my room for next year, kids.
Yeah.
Then we get next one up is you two. We have Hades and Maleficent.
We duked that one out, I think, as best we could, Miss Pangburn. So
I don't know.
we're gonna let the voters decide.
Let the
Yeah.
voters.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe that would be a good poll question
Yeah,
at the end of the survey, so we can post one on Spotify.
Yep.
So we have Scar and Shere Khan.
Oh,
that would be
That was
that-
a smart
I like that one. Yeah.
Tiger versus
Hmm.
lion. Wow.
Yeah.
Man, we could spend all day talking about this one.
That could have been a whole podcast
Yeah.
right there.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Oh, that would be like best. I mean, we could have like what would we call like an animal one? You know, like we could have like
Yeah.
like the best animal villain, right?
Right.
Something like that. Animal villain
That's
face
amazing.
off.
Best Disney animals.
Yes.
Disney, because there are some.
Super good. Bravo to that person.
Yes.
That I love it.
Shout out
we
to
Yes.
Willie. Can I say it? Does it matter if I say the full name? No.
Just do first name and initial. They'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. BW.
Yeah,
And I think.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Well, High Mass Junior kid.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Showing the creativity.
Very cool.
So we have.
Oh, well, what do you think? What's the gut? The gut says actually Shere Khan.
Yeah. If you're accounting,
I don't
everything
think-
like henchmen and helpers, because
Just
like
Yeah,
Shere Khan had an entire gang of like animal, team up and
And I think he's more powerful. Like he's got the
Yeah.
physical prowess.
Yeah,
like I mean,
yeah, Scar's a little run down.
because he was
Yeah,
taking on
true.
He's always kind of like on the
Yeah,
scrawny
scrap.
side.
Well, he's
Older,
just
yeah.
hitting for scraps all the
scrapping.
time.
Yeah.
right.
Because look, I mean, I mean, Baloo is taking. I mean, I think of that's a big
Yeah.
battle in
Yeah.
Jungle, right?
Sure.
Like Shere Khan versus like you think of like
Yeah.
I love watching these like nature battles on YouTube like that. Like
Yeah, I was
who
gonna
would win? You
Say,
know?
when you watch
yep.
the late at night Discovery Channel, like
Yeah. I love.
this tiger take on this bear.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, who would win, right? Yeah. So I see that.
That's
you know. Yeah, because I
I
don't
have to
know.
go Shere Khan too. Definitely. I think
Shere
even
Khan.
like zoologically speaking, don't they say that tigers are typically stronger? I might be way off.
Yeah.
Science person.
Mm.
We always joke we need a science person like constantly to fact check us, but
Right. Yes.
so the C is reserved for science people. Like,
We have we had what did I say? Oh, Maleficent and Evil Queen.
yeah, Maleficent.
Oh, Maleficent. Yeah.
Here, eat
Okay,
this apple.
Maleficent.
Nope, Dragonfire.
Done.
No, she needed to like apprentice to Maleficent
Yes,
to
yes.
Yeah.
learn more powers.
She's like Maleficent Junior.
Too easily
Right.
taken down.
If that.
Yep.
So we have Mother Gothel and Jafar.
Oh.
I don't see that's a non.
What about like Mother
battle.
Gothel versus like a Cruel de Vil, like the two
Oh,
humans?
that would be-
with
yeah.
cunning
That would-
and-
yeah.
It's
that
almost
would be a
unfair
more-
to put some of these villains
Right,
against
right.
each other with no
That would be a no.
powers and such, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, here's a. I love the quantifier they put in here. Jafar in parentheses
Yeah.
when he becomes the Red
Yes,
Genie
yes, there it
versus
is.
Hades.
Ooh, I love it. That's a great.
That's really
We'll have
good.
to give that kid a shout out.
And that is Rodriguez,
okay.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Oh
Yep.
yes,
Our
Ano-
DMS
another-
TV
Rodriguez, yes.
Mohan Mesh
host,
Jr.
yes.
Yes, love him.
Because I feel like I read something. I'll try
I
to
like
find
that.
it. But I think this article I read many years ago said that the genie has some of the most incredible powers. All like the magical
Yeah.
abilities, but
Right.
the genie is
Itty bitty living
severely
space.
limited by the wish and the whoever has the lamp.
Itty bitty
Right.
living space.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Yes.
Yes. Oh, one of my favorites. One of my favorites.
So that's a great
Again,
one.
I think Hades would win out just with the
Yeah.
ability to sustain.
Right. Just the
I
immortality.
mean, he
factor.
could grab the lamp and then control him.
Yeah. True.
Right.
He would figure that out.
He's smart.
Unless Jafar went into the battle knowing this was going to be the case, and you could research how to hide the lamp, protect the lamp.
Yeah. Turn
Then
the
it could be,
turn the lamp into something
Yeah,
else.
don't
Like turn it into
rely
a
on
shield.
Iago.
Lamp,
Iago's not gonna do the
get
job.
Iago out of the picture.
Right. Yeah.
No, that was a great one.
Turn in. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And here. Okay. So, and then another student, but he went Marvel. So,
Hey, well said. I
Beyonder
love it.
versus Fulcrum.
Oh, I love it. I'll go Beyonder.
Beyonder
Yeah.
is like crazy.
I
Yeah.
can't weigh in on that one.
Doctor Doom tried to steal his powers, so that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And Doctor Doom. Yeah. Oh, how do you YZMA?
Oh,
Oh,
Yzma.
Yzma.
from
yeah.
Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Yzma. Okay.
Another kind
Versus,
that's a
of,
flashback.
that's-
I thought
Versus-
that
That's
was
a little
long
more
time.
obscure for
versus Miss Pangburn's Hades.
to Hades.
yeah.
That's a Hades.
No brainer.
Then
Yeah.
great character, but
Yes, thank you for the
she's got nothing.
recommendation. Yeah.
Now we have Evil Queen and Cinderella's. Oh wait, is it and or versus? It should be versus. So, okay, in Evil Queen and Cinderella's evil stepmother.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a little
Interesting.
more
Yeah.
on par.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean,
I would
Lady
say
Tremaine. That was her name. Yeah. I'll go Lady Tremaine. She just seems like a bad person.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Crafty.
just not
Yeah.
nice.
yeah.
She wouldn't eat a poison apple.
No.
No,
I don't think she would trust her.
she'd
enough.
trick
Yeah.
her into eating her own.
Her
She'd
cat's
lock-
named
lock her in a
Lucifer
room
for
and-
crying out loud. Who names their cat
Lucifer,
Lucifer?
no.
It's pretty sadistic.
Yeah, yeah, we
I'll give her
got
that
some
one.
issues.
There's a good chance she's hiding some magical powers somewhere that no one
I think
knows
so.
about.
Yeah, she's
For a
got
rainy
something
day.
up her
Bodies in the
sleeve there.
closet and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Now
She'd
we have
sacrifice her daughters.
Oh yeah, big time.
Before
Like,
she would get
get in there,
killed anyway.
Anastasia, and Priscilla, get in there.
Take her down.
Go take one from mother.
There's best.
Yep.
No, what is it? I already said that. Shan Yu and Gaston.
Oh, that's a
Ooh,
good
that's
one
a
too.
good
Wow.
matchup.
That's
Props to that
might be a
person.
shout out too. Yeah.
Mm.
That is, we have Billington, Mr. Billington. I think
Cool,
a sixth grader. Yes,
Very cool.
a good buddy
like
of
that
mine.
one.
Yes, nice job,
Hmm, I
Mr.
mean,
Billington.
that's a pretty equal match of physical
Yeah,
strength.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
That's just, I mean, there's no power. It's just like, it's kind of like, Scar versus Ishir Khan
Yeah,
sort of
right,
thing,
right, right.
like we're just some power issues.
Hmm.
And I think Shan Yu is probably
Better trained.
Better trained,
That's what
I was gonna say.
militaristically, yeah.
because Gaston has all the muscles. I don't
Right.
know if he's
Is he
building them.
self-taught?
Yeah, how
right.
is he? Is he just powerlifting?
Or does he
Or-
have what they call glamour muscles? He just works out just
right
to look
for
big.
the look
Right,
instead
and
of
he
the
might have
Yeah.
skipped leg day, one of
Exactly,
those.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got
right.
no like lower body strength.
I'm pretty sure
Shan
he's
Yu can
wearing,
climb out of like an avalanche of snow
Yeah.
and keep on going.
Right, he's
Gaston's
got
wearing, like, a
more-
slimming belt and stuff to make himself
For
look
sh-
nicer.
He's got
and,
more practical strength, right? It's like those world strongman guys,
Exactly,
right?
right, right.
They could just
Those
be put in any
brutes.
situation
Yeah.
and just destroy.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll
Yeah.
go with Shan Yu maybe on
I
that
agree.
one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
mhm.
Now here's another one. This is quite elaborate. Okay, ready. It's got almost like a paragraph within a spreadsheet slot. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have Gaston hunting a lion, aka Scar,
Wow. Okay. Cool.
because there can only be one commander modesty.
Interesting. I don't know what
Alright.
that means, but okay.
I don't know. So
That's a
I'm go with like Gaston hunting a Scar.
Yeah. That'd be a cool topic too. Like, who would be more successful in this area?
Right, who could
Gaston hunting Scar,
out
or
manipulate
Oh, I think Scar would probably be able to.
Especially if he teamed up with the hyenas.
Yeah, he'd be able
I think
to.
he could pull like a fast one on Gaston.
Yeah, because I think Gaston may not be the brightest.
No.
No, yeah, he definitely needs people to.
He's not the.
I mean,
He's, not the
he's
hottest
smarter
French
than
fry
his
in the Happy Meal.
sidekick, but that's all you need,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
To have a sidekick,
Yeah.
you're a little bit
I'd say
higher up.
Scar eats him. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Scar sneak attacks, right?
Yeah.
he plot better for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got it all done.
Gaston would just bluster and try to.
All right, so we got Gaston there. We had Hades, Maleficent. We already talked about that.
Mhm.
Did I say Maleficent and Jafar yet? Did I say that one already?
Possibly.
I think.
I mean, with or without the lamp, that's the big hinge factor.
Yeah. It depends on what level Jafar.
Yeah. Right.
If it's kind of Jafar red, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. That'd be a good one.
Red Jafar.
Red Jafar.
Yeah.
Mr. Rodriguez put that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll go with
I
his.
dig it.
And so we have Stinky Pete versus Lotso.
I love it.
I think Lotso could flatten
Yeah,
Stinky
I
Pete,
know.
so we'll go.
I do like Lotso. He's got that booming voice.
That's another one where you don't realize the deception.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe just
Just looks like
overpower
a
him with
big,
the strawberry.
Big teddy bear.
Strawberry
yeah.
smell.
Till, yep.
seems like a good guy, and then
Yeah,
bam.
I know. All of a sudden.
All right,
Nope,
we
that was
got
good.
okay. So we got
The
that.
last couple here.
Maleficent, Jafar, Maleficent, and Evil Queen
We did that.
has
Yeah.
nothing.
Powers, no powers.
Oh wait. Oh, okay. Oh, the bird from Aladdin, but they didn't put anyone else with it.
He'll just talk himself into
Yeah.
Yeah.
death. It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a good one. Okay, we'll just add one in. What's the monkey, Aladdin's monkey? His
Oh,
name.
Abu?
Abu.
Mhm.
Abu.
Abu always wins.
Versus
Who's very smart, yeah.
Abu always
He's.
wins.
I like.
Or carpet.
I love something
Abu
about
or
monkeys.
carpet.
Yeah,
carpet. in there.
Yeah, he'd have the carpet sidekick to reel him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maleficent, Ursula. Did we do? I don't think we did Maleficent.
We did.
We did
Yeah,
that
they
one.
always see. Yep.
Here's another one that's different. Than we have Queen of Hearts versus and Cruella de Vil.
Oh, what the red kind of theme? Too.
Mm-hmm.
Off with her head.
Yeah. She has the whole
Hmm.
army, the spade army there, the card army.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd never vibed with Cruella. I thought she was kind of just like a
I said they're both pretty
Cringe.
unhinged.
Cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Like,
cringe.
yeah, you can just go get a fur coat,
Yeah.
synthetic one. You don't need to.
I like Queen of Hearts better.
I do like Cruella though, so I'll give that Cruella actually. She got that
Okay.
awesome car. I'm a car guy, so
Yeah, it's a cool
you know.
car. It's like, all right. So we have Hades and Dark Radar, Rader.
I'm not familiar.
I don't know either.
Question mark?
I think that was a Darth Vader misspelling.
Oh yes.
Lord
Yeah.
Vader. Thanks for the ELA
There you
teacher
go.
preventing a Google
Yes.
search.
Yes.
That would have
That
been
would be my best guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Vader all the way.
Oh, come on. Vader, yeah.
Shout out to that kid for
Yeah.
force joke.
Yep. We got that one. Darth Vader.
Darth Vader.
Okay. Thank
Love
you.
it.
That was so funny. I'm so like
I
tunnel
say,
vision
it
on
used-
this. She's like, oh,
It used to
Vader.
only be you had to interpret handwriting. Now you have to
Yes.
interpret
We're all
Yeah.
pirates.
typed answered as well.
Yes. Epic.
That's awesome. Gaston and Jafar. I don't think that's an issue. That's a no-brainer. No matter what level Jafar is at.
Hmm.
No.
Hades, Maleficent, Cruella de Vil, and Maleficent. No-brainer. Now, we can go through favorite, the best power of any Disney villain ever created.
Ooh. Best power ever.
Yes.
I wish I had time to prep for this one.
Oh, I
That's,
know.
Oh,
that's a good one. I mean, I'm still like on Team Dragon for Maleficent. That's
Okay.
like amazing to me.
having
but I don't
the
wanna-
ability to like manipulate
I don't
yourself
wanna
into being a
repeat
dragon.
it, Yeah.
No, I mean that's your character, so that's. I say it's a good one to go with.
Thanos with the full Infinity Gauntlet for the win.
Oh,
All the powers in the known universe.
yeah.
That's the easy
No, it's
answer.
like classic infinite force
Oh,
fields, like
yeah.
every classic little boy's joke.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you can. I have
know.
a force field breaker. Yeah.
Yeah. Darth Vader, the Force.
The
Period.
force, yes, end story, Mike. So we have here they put like magic and shape shifting. Ursula's magic.
Mhm.
Shape-shifting, telekinesis that falls into there.
Cool.
Voodoo,
There you go.
Dr. Facilier.
Yep.
Best power, Jafar. Okay, I could see me being
There's a
that
variety.
red,
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
red genie.
Hypnosis kind of stuff too.
Oh, Ursula being able to turn mermaids human. That's very specific.
Yeah.
Maleficent's dragon power.
Boom.
There you go.
Thanks, good.
Is that a word? Chernabog?
It's Darth Vader, actually.
Maybe they meant Chewbacca.
No.
Does Chewbacca have power?
From Fantasia, the giant winged beast in the
Oh,
end.
is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I actually have the Funko Pop of that. and I
Does
just
he have
realized it.
powers?
Super scary.
It's super scary.
That terrified me as a
Like,
kid.
yeah.
Woo.
I remember liking Fantasia and being
I
like,
know.
and done.
Yeah, like let's turn it off for the final 15 minutes because we ain't seen this hellscape scene.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude was terrifying.
Oh, it reminds me of from Gargoyles.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if it's supposed to be a demon or what.
Yeah.
Is it a mythical creature?
Yeah, it kind of looks like that show. I
awesome.
used to watch that show Gargoyles.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Oh yeah, 90s.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, totally. So, in that, another Rodriguez, he put that one in.
Yeah, it's crushing it.
Yeah. Being able to access the underworld is sick.
Yeah,
That was the second part of that.
Thank you.
love
That
it.
just
Well said.
does it surprise you? No, I love him. I love him. I told him he's got one of the great. I want to have. We were talking about having kids on, and I've had like a lot of kids ask. I
Yeah.
got to go through like I make
The
sure like
channels, yeah.
formalities. But I would love to have him on for two reasons: his wit.
Yeah,
And he's got a rock star voice.
yeah.
Oh,
Absolute
yes.
rock
It's
star
super
voice. I mean, he's
well-spoken.
got like an adult like rock star voice, like
Yeah.
as like a middle school kid. I don't even know
when
what's
he
going to
played
happen as he
Bruce.
gets
He does
older.
a great
Who's the
Australian
shark?
accent.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him.
Yep.
The genie is a power. Hades had complete control of the underworld and all its subjects of Madame Medusa, or Madame Medusa, and who looks into her eyes and everyone turns into stone. So it was like a 2-for-1 here.
Mm.
So Hades, one here. The power to easily manipulate anyone.
That's
Who would that-
that's kind of a general. A lot of
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it applies across the
Yeah.
board to a lot of
Right,
them.
right.
there's one that applies even more. Is
Mhm.
power.
Yeah.
Power is one.
Power,
Okay.
mhm.
Controlling the artifact that can stop an ancient evil. What would that be under? Who is that?
Stopping an ancient evil.
I mean, there's
Yeah, maybe
artifact.
they wanted to release the ancient evil.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sounds like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let me see. Dark magic. Maleficent's cursing thingy.
Cursing thingy.
Yeah.
Staff.
Strength. Some put the force.
Perfect.
Touche. Yes.
Sold.
Dr. Facilier.
Mm.
All right. Thank you, DeJoy. All right. We have Maleficent being able to turn a dragon into a dragon. Flight.
Mhm.
The three-headed dog.
Yay.
Oh, cool.
Just
Cerberus.
all magic. I think that's it. Yeah.
Well, epic. Well, thank you to all the kids for that.
Yeah,
Epic
really
list. That was
appreciate
amazing.
like the polls coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I have any other ones here.
That sounds
I
like a
think that-
popular topic that a lot of them
Yeah.
get into.
Another one that was from a friend online. Captain Hook versus Jafar was another face off there that
Mhm.
wasn't on our list. Scar and Jafar. That's funny too.
Sounds like a buddy movie.
Yeah, Scar and Jafar. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I think
right.
That was
a pretty
epic.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got the camera for the second half. So
There you go.
I think
Yes.
what I'll do for the first half, I tell you, every time I'm working on this, I think I got it nailed down. I think, eventually our last episode that we'll ever do
Mhm.
here, it's going to be a flawless performance.
Yes.
That's
There you
how
go.
I'm going to end.
Yeah,
Something
So-
to strive for.
So
Yes.
I'll throw in
We got
some.
a few years to retirement, so we'll keep working on it.
Just a few.
Yeah, I think what I'll do
Who's
is I'll
counting?
throw in some nice imagery
Yeah, there you
of
go.
all the things we're talking about in the background as
Sure.
we go.
I love it.
And we'll get the video here.
Very cool.
Excellent.
This was so much fun. Thank you
Yes,
for
thanks for
Appreciate
coming on.
everybody.
having me here.
Yeah,
Epic
coming
wealth of
in.
Disney knowledge.
Yes.
So we'll definitely have to have you on in the future, like
Oh.
talking about
I made a note.
you're a big
Hero.
yes, very
episode.
knowledgeable about plays and novels and books.
Oh
and-
yes, and spelling
cool
too,
things.
helping
And
me
spelling,
decipher.
yeah, there you
Yes.
go.
Perfect. So very,
Appreciate
very cool.
that. Excellent. No, and nice having a new person. on
Yes,
here. It's
totally.
super fun.
Absolutely. Very cool. But regardless of all the jokes, kids, like, be good to each other out there.
Yes.
Don't be villains.
Choose
Yes.
kind.
People are all selfish, evil people. that we
Yes.
talked about. So yes, choose the kind. Got all the shirts on
We do.
today.
Yes. Have a conversation.
Choose
Awesome.
kind. It matters.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right.
Well, I wish
tune in next time. And
Yes.
Enjoy spring break. I know
spring
we
break,
need it.
Happy Easter. Yes. Totally.
To everyone out there, and here's to melting snow.
Yes. All right.
Hear,
We'll catch
hear.
you guys all next time.
Excellent. Peace.
Bye bye.